Warning, if you watch this video, you are likely to experience an extreme feeling of jealousy. And I apologize. And that's because I'm going to show real quick the last little noteworthy bit of my collection, which is my Dulocs. I call them the Dulocs. The Ewoks figures from the Ewoks show, from the Kenner toy line from the mid-'80s. But before I show those, I figured I'd show these, which sit behind me in my videos. This is a Return of the Jedi removable limbs C-3PO. Actually, he might have launched with Empire Strikes Back. Regardless, he was sold on the Return of the Jedi card as well. And this is a proper actual Kenner figure with, you can see that he's shiny because he has vac metallized exterior. The toy companies basically don't do this anymore. I don't know if it's illegal, but rather the environmental concerns make the manufacturing of it much more expensive, I believe is the case. This is the same tooling as the removable limb C-3PO, but is the Kenner from the Droids cartoon figure from a couple of years later. They used the same tooling. Now, if you know anything about this figure, you're probably freaking out right now because you think I'm holding an $800 toy, and I'm not, because this is not actually C-3PO from the Droids Kenner cartoon toy line. It is a reproduction, which might still be available, by Stan Solo. Let's see if you can see here. Where the heck is the camera? There's a little SS right there on the thigh. If you're ever buying these loose, look for that. Now that there's reproductions out there, he's almost identical. I mean, the tooling looks exactly the same, but I just loved it so much, and I saw the cheaper reproduction, and it accomplishes the same thing on the shelf, so I got that. There were 6 toys in the Droids toy line from Kenner based on the cartoon, and then another 6 that were canceled, which is the same case for the Ewoks Kenner toy line that had 6 toys and then 6 canceled toys. And unfortunately and tragically, in basically both cases, the second wave had the more interesting characters. I think Mungo Beabob was in the second wave of the Droids figures, and a bunch of Admiral Screed, a bunch of cool stuff. But when looking at Kenner toys to collect, an EU fan might look at the cartoons and be like, those are the ones I want to collect, if you can't collect them all. If you just have to pick a little area. And then between the Ewoks toys and the Droids toys, the Ewoks toys have a lot more personality, as you'll see. The Droids line looked very much like the standard, not very detailed Kenner toys from the movies. But just to give you an idea, I'll show you our Duloc Scout. All of these are graded. 5 of them by the AFA, 1 by the CAS, which I think is a British grading company. It's all the same, essentially, between these two at least. The Action Figure Authority, you can see in there the little label. And if you don't know, they're a private company, and you can send figures into them, and they have professionals that go through a professional process, and they inspect the figure. I imagine they're sitting there with like a little microscope lens or whatever. I don't know the exact process. And they give it an official grade. And then they seal it in these cool displayable acrylic cases, and that effectively locks in that grade that they've determined it is. This is, you can't see it the way this one's built, this is a 90, and so it comes with a cool gold sticker when it's 85 near mint or above 90. I'm not super diehard into the collecting scene in terms of having passionate opinions about certain movements or ideologies, but what I do know is that there are people that do not like graded figures. And one of the critiques is, it's an action figure. You're supposed to touch it and play with it. It's got no business being in here. But and that makes sense. But for the droids line, I thought it would be really cool. The Ewoks line, be really cool to collect them this way. I did not send them in to get graded. I bought them off of eBay graded. And if you keep an eye out for auctions, you might find some good deals. I had to build this over a year, patiently waiting for good deals. And I don't know if this is a tactic that other people use, but a tactic I use on eBay auctions is I find something I want that's lowest bidding price is reasonable, and if it doesn't have any bids, and it's like the final day, I really watch it closely, and then into the final hour and into the final few seconds, and then I place the first bid like with 20 seconds left to go. And I don't know if maybe somebody can tell me that that's not a good strategy or it's not doing anything useful, but I just feel like if you place a bid immediately, it's gonna like show interest and other people are gonna bid and it's gonna shoot the price up. So I just watch it without bidding or without even clicking the watch button until like the last 30 seconds and then see if I can swoop in and buy it, which is how I got at least half of these. Next we have the Duloc Shaman. We have a U90. Can you see that? You can. The U is another area of contention within the collecting community and within the grading community itself, which is that the U designation means that the person who graded this, sent it in attached to its card back, and then they requested that the grading company pull the figure off of the card back, grade just the figure. I imagine U means uncirculated. And so usually U designations are higher grades because they have been played with, but they're not always excellent. This one is a 90. Comes with a little gold sticker. A few of these are U. I did not have a hard opinion about it. They did discontinue it though because of the backlash. Last I checked, the AFA is no longer pulling figures off cards, and obviously it's controversial because there's a limited number of these pieces of pop culture history still in existence, and so it's almost like to get this U designation, they're encouraging collectors to pull figures off of cards and making them more scarce, making them less be in existence. I, however, think that there is a possibility, it's likely that most of the collectors that send their figures into the AFA to have them pulled off the cards are probably on really junk cards that aren't displayable, but I don't know if that's the case for all of them. We have Lady Gornish, U85 plus, another U, gonna be canceled by the action figure community. Was a little gold sticker because it's 85 plus. Maybe I should be showing the backs of these. You can see how the graders put the acrylic pieces in there to lock them into place. And actually, so all of these came with coins on card back, and since they're all loose, they're graded, but they're loose, separated from their coins. This is the only one Lady Gornish I bought that came with the coin graded separately. It is actually quite cool. I like this shiny sticker here. And then the fourth in the Ewoks line, King Gornish, and he's huge. Here's our first silver sticker because we have just a 85 grade. Something I haven't mentioned, there's a little serial number here, and you can look up that serial number online and confirm that this is a legitimate thing, and when it was graded and what the figure is, it'll have all this information on it. Most of these are graded in the late mid 2010s, except for the Scout, which was graded significantly earlier. just for comparison, look how big King Gornish is. He's huge. And we have Wicket. This one took a long time to find one that was affordable. This is the last one I got for the set. This is why I settled for CAS. Grading company. Silver, because we have 85 but not 85 Nearmint. Plus they all kind of stick to the same system. I love how accurate to the cartoon these look. And my favorite, and another U, low gray. I call him low gray. And so, I have one more graded figure. I wanted to get somebody loose, like a Duloc, to play with and just manipulate and actually feel the thing. But I didn't. I might go back and get a loose Duloc, but I went in the opposite direction, and I got on card graded low gray. And it's the best card back in my opinion. The blue there with that kind of warm colored swoosh from the Magic is just gorgeous. And the grading is a little different for card back. There's the 85 overall that you can see, but there's actually 3 sub-designations, which you can see right here, and I will read it, and it's C85, B90, F90. So C is for the card back, that gets graded by itself, and you can see some nicks and bends here in a couple spots, a little warping. The B is for the bubble, and that's B90. And the bubble actually has a sub-designator as well, which is the Y designation for yellowing, the plastic yellows. And I don't even think that the community knows exactly what causes yellowing in the plastic of bubbles. Temperature over time, I'm not positive. I think you throw your hands up and roll the dice and it yellows or it doesn't yellow. And it's in fact so common that there are figures on card backs with yellowing that are still prized possessions. It really bugs me. I don't like the idea of it. And so luckily, this one is not yellowing. And you can see his coin here. And just a quick look at the back. There's the whole set. And there's some play sets in the bottom there. And that's it. That's going to be the peak of my figure collection. I am satisfied. I have won the figure collection for as far as I want to go. No rocket firing Boba Fett for me or other Kenner figures. Thanks.